Hola, chicas.
Hi.
Shannon, you have to unmute yourself. Got
There
you.
she is. There
Uh,
she is.
all right. So we're starting a podcast. Um, so this is our first one, so we're gonna have like learning curves. So hopefully our sisters will come along on the journey and they'll see progress with our skills,
Or
uh,
laugh at us really hard, one of the two, right?
or lack thereof. Um, So I'm one of your hosts. I'm Erin Sullivan. I'm out of Local 3 in New York City in the IBEW. And we have with us,
Shannon Skinner, journeyman lineman, local 396, Las Vegas, Nevada.
And Stacy Helbling, power plant operator, also out of 396 in Las Vegas.
so we got the power here.
We got the power.
We got the power. So what have you guys been doing since last we saw her? Where did we last see each other?
Tradesmen's.
Chicago. Yeah. And
Chicago.
what a time.
Yes, we all went to Trade Women Build Nations in Chicago. And so I met Shannon probably about 20 years ago at the IBEW Women's Conference, and we became instant friends. We made that instant connection. Shannon, you want to tell us a little more about how we met?
It was at a women's conference, and you had some ladies from New York with you also. And we all become fast friends, and we decided that we're going to go out to dinner one night. And all the ladies in New York are dressed to the nines, and of course, Erin, being the organizer, finds us a place to eat. We get there, everybody gets a drink. Service isn't fast enough. And if you guys know how New Yorkers talk, listen to Erin. They were not happy. Let's get out of here. We've got to go someplace else. So I think it was like, what? Would we hit like three places before we finally settled on a place for dinner? But talk about memories and conversations and sharing the IBW and sister. It's a first group of sisters actually that I met in a big group. I've only, I'm usually the only girl in certain meetings for many, many years, but I connected with Erin and her IBEW sisters very rapidly, and it was nice. I think that's where it all started, Erin.
That's where it all started.
That's where it all started.
And I always say, like, when you have a group of women, it's like herding kittens, right? Trying to come
That's
up with consensus is never easy.
no. We're getting good at it though, right?
Yes, we are. We
Or
are.
we're just getting easier in our old age.
Yeah, we're just like, just give us a local pub. I think that that's more
Right.
like it. And then along came Stacy.
That's
Right.
right.
I think she's
When did we
probably,
meet? About 5 years ago, Erin? Maybe
yep,
about five.
a Trade Women Build Nation.
IBW Women
Oh,
Conference, I
the
think.
women's conference.
Think
In
that's what it
DC.
was. Yeah, DC.
DC.
And you
Yeah,
guys have become easier because we just went for fish and chips.
Hmm.
So,
yeah. And at the Irish pub, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep. So, I mean, the one thing that I can say about this sisterhood is that like I've been blessed. I with friendship. I didn't have any sisters growing up, so I didn't know what it was like, but in the IBEW, I have amazing sisters. Amazing sisters. So we got to talking and we said, hey, why don't we start a podcast and we can maybe share our friendship with other sisters who might not have the contact with other sisters. And so here we are. So we're gonna start it and see where the journey takes us. And all Journey people. Well, Stacy, you work in the power plant, so how does that work?
So they don't have an apprenticeship program, but I've been running the power plants in Nevada for about 25 years now. So um, I went to a trade school prior to kind of get my Associate of Science in power process technology, and then it's basically on the job training from there. So, but my card does say uh, journeyman control operator.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've been running power plants for about 25 years now. How cool does that sound?
it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun.
And my girl Shannon's climbing poles. We
Yeah,
were,
42 years now.
I know. I was gonna get her to take me up in the helicopter with the pole, but I kind of chickened out
You
when
know,
she's,
you can come out here, Aaron, the 21st through the 24th. We're doing long line training. I can get you on hanging from a helicopter on a rope in a harness
when is that?
the 21st through the 24th of October.
Oh, I don't know. That's short notice, but maybe we can coordinate it for next year.
Okay.
Because
There'll be more.
I really want to do it. And that's the thing with the IBEW is like if you put things out into the atmosphere, um, to the universe, things happen. So I think I had some medical stuff going on last time, and I said, well, but I got cleared to skydive, so I should be able to do that. So we will definitely circle back to that. And that might be a reason to stay tuned, right?
That's right.
Because we'll see where that journey takes me. Um, so one of the things that we wanted to talk about on our podcast is not so much politics, because politics are yucky and toxic and stuff like that, but we all agreed that we would talk about policy, right? And how policy affects us. Because I always tell my students, my wallet's like a Ouija board, and it goes where the money is, right? And how we make the money is not the politicians, but on the policy that the politicians are pushing. So, Stacy, you were saying that out in Nevada,
Yeah, so the big beautiful bill, um, speaking of policy, has shut down a few jobs out here in Nevada that you know, Nevada's, as you probably all know, full of sunshine. And so there was 118 acres of BLM managed land that was going to go into solar, the Esmeralda 7 solar project. And that has been shut down as of right now. So that's one of the biggest projects that has been shut down. Also, there's a very large transmission line, which Shannon can speak more to. Um, but with the new policy, they're trying to let customers back out of any agreement that they had made to build this because of, that green energy money is apparently no more. So,
That affects the permitting process,
yeah,
lengthens the job. Um, it's it's been kind of a pain, and of course that creates more cost for the job, the
yeah,
slowing of the job, possibly layoffs on the job. They've started dirt work and footers and substations so far, but we should have had linemen out on the job um, February of this year. So it has slowed the process a bit.
have they gotten there yet, or there's some, or
No, not yet. No linemen yet. I mean, here and there for like substation work if they need a lineman, but no, the job isn't going full blown yet.
yeah. So here in New York, we had they shut down the Second Avenue line and the tunnel project, which was $18 billion worth of work. And the reason they shut it down was because of they want to investigate the policies of DEI, the diversity, equity, and inclusion. So they shut it down. So, you know, we've been around long enough to understand the political games, and that's just more political theater because of the shutdown, the government shutdown, right? And how do I, punish the people who oppose me, which is Jeffries and Schumer, right? And all right, I'm going to go take away work um, from their areas. And the blue states, we're used to getting punished. We had the salt tax, and the unfortunate thing that and not to get like all political, but you know, in the building trades, I would say that this current administration probably has about 53% of the building trades voting for them. So to shut down a project where 53% of the people on that project are now going to get food taken off their table. I don't know. Like,
I don't get it. Their wallets don't have that Ouija board thing going on.
yeah, like I was always taught, vote my wallet. And
Yeah.
I just don't see why somebody who, is saying that they care about their people, care about their voters, and is the champion of working people would stop a job of 18 billion, right? I mean, the last progress meeting I was at, they were saying something like $134 billion of work. That's 25 Keystone pipelines, like if we're gonna, kind of equate it, right? Because we saw the uproar when they wanted to cancel the Keystone pipeline, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I got on the Department of Energy's webpage. There's 16 pages of canceled, terminated projects.
wow.
Yeah, it was amazing to see. And it like across the board, just so much.
And you think of like the last jobs report, like I mean they fired the Bureau of Labor and Statistics person when they came out with 22,000 jobs, but um the next month when their guy that they hired came out with 22,000 jobs, you know when you're looking at job creation of 22,000 jobs, and now you want to like cancel jobs, like I don't know. It just seems a recipe for disaster for working people. But I guess, we'll see in time and, see what happens as time goes by. I think once this whole government shutdown thing passes, I think, the political theater, I'm hoping will subside and those jobs will come back because right now the money's frozen. So it's basically like, you know, holding a you know, holding jobs hostage, right? Unless you meet our demands. So I'm not sure how that one's going to end, but so that's
It
our
never ends
political
well.
part. Not to get too murky with that, but um, so we have the portion of our podcast where we are going to,
Take a question.
yes,
Is this the girl you need to espresso yourself?
that's right. Because every week we're going to have a sister write in a question so that you can espresso yourself um, and basically, giving sisters an opportunity to hear from other sisters how we navigate in this world of non-traditional employment, this world of DEI, right? Because we're all here as a result of
Yeah.
DEI. And so the question of the week is from Sasha Swanson out of Local 3. And she asked, how did you get into the IBEW, or what brought you to the IBEW?
Who's first?
I'd say ladies first, but we're all ladies, so.
Well, and I think Stacy and I are both in the same category as our family was in the trade. Uh, we both went to college, and I actually worked on the High Lines in the summertime, right? Swept the shop floor, did whatever around and kind of hung around the trade. And when I got to college, I just realized that, the trades are for me. That's where I wanted to be. I think that, I work with my hands, my brain and my brawn, and being outdoors. My family, my whole step family is in the trade. My stepdad, which is now passed, my two twin uncles were linemen. Um, the wages that they made when they started were in the cents, right?
Mm.
And I have two twin uncles, another uncle that was an operator, and then my dad was an operator, and then on the big high line, and then went indoors to mechanic because he got hurt one year. But he didn't really want me to get into the trade, right? Because he knows the dangers and what have you. But I think that I mean, I loved it from the get-go. I practiced traveling around the country. I came from the outside. I didn't work at a utility right off the bat. So I was a groundman for a while, traveled around to see if I really wanted to do it. And I fell in love with it. And a lot of the journeymen were like, Shannon, you need to get into the apprenticeship. This trade is for you. And I did. And it's history. I love this trade. I love giving back in this trade. Right now, at this point in my career, the biggest thing for me is training our apprentices. And I'm very involved in the apprenticeship program. And they're our legacies, they're our future, they're the IBEW future. I love mentoring young ladies across the country. I mentor on the phone. I've had a couple top out, one last week recently, which is always really fun, and they're excited to get their journey started. But yeah, family, worked my way up from sweeping the shop floor to I become a groundman, an apprentice, a journeyman, and a foreman, and the president of my local.
Now,
And if I had it to do all over again, if I was 18 tomorrow, I would start the journey all over again at 18.
did you have anybody telling you not to do it?
No, I mean there was apprehensive because I was what they call the trailblazer, right? There was no girls in the trade and out in the field, and I started transmission lines, right? And it was a lot different back then than it is now. There's no restrooms, no running water, none of that stuff. So I've watched this journey and everything evolve from then until now, which is amazing. But no, nobody told me not to do it. They encouraged me to do it. And I wouldn't be where I am today without the people that encouraged me and taught me this trade. And there's no way. And that's why I think that I really like being that mentor because I had them.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what it would be like not to have a bathroom.
As a young lady, even not having a bathroom.
Yeah,
That's
especially,
something we won't discuss on the
yeah,
podcast.
yeah. I mean, now, certainly when I first got here, we would have to walk to a deli to go to the bathroom. There wasn't, always a bathroom on the job site, but I couldn't imagine like,
In the middle of Death Valley.
yeah, I couldn't. But there's so many questions I want to ask about that. I just don't know if this is the right format, but maybe it's a pub conversation.
Yeah, and we can grab from the pub what we want.
Miss Stacy.
Yeah, Shannon touched on it. I always tell people like I grew up in a power plant, but my mother ran a power plant in a refinery, and I used to get to go to work with her. I remember when I first I loved it. She doesn't like this story, but they were on strike early 80s, and I actually got to go to work and do the picket signs, and I thought that was the greatest thing in the world, not realizing what, fully a strike was in those terms. Like, hey, they're fighting for their job here, but it allowed me to go with her. And it's when I fell in love with the idea of it. And so, of course, they settled that strike and went back to work, and then I didn't get to go as often. But that's really when I was like my first taste of what a union was, right? And so spent my whole life watching my mother do it, and I knew it was what I was going to do very early. And so I started very early. I was working at a power plant by the time I was 18 years old.
Wow.
So yeah. And same with Shannon, just, 25 years in now I'm, running the plant, and it's a great career. Like, you couldn't write a better story about it.
Yeah, and so like where's like your journey taken you like besides like on a work thing? Like have there been any moments where like being a member of the IBEW, like you found yourself like in a place like you're like, wow, I never thought this would happen.
Yeah, I think in the beginning it was a lot about like running the plant and doing the work, but then I got more involved with the union, and I sit on the executive board with Shannon, and that family feeling that you get from being a part of that hall, and doing these conferences that I get to go see everybody at, and like the one we were just in Chicago, that has given me like a purpose in life that you don't get in a lot of places. And so I love that, and I always get to meet new people, and all the great girls that we get to run around with at these conferences. It's a good time.
I got to tell you something about Stacy. Like when she came to 396, we put her to work right away. We asked of a lot of her, and the answer was always yes. I'd call her up, say, "Hey, can you do this?" Absolutely. She
Yeah.
testified for the IBW. I mean, first couple of weeks that she was here on this property. So she has always said yes. That's why I start dragging her around with me everywhere I go, because the answer is always yes. And that is one of the things that I absolutely love about her.
Yeah. And those experiences are you can't put a price tag on those experiences. So
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, I always come back, my battery's recharged um
yeah.
when I go to those conferences because the day in, day out, grind of work, it wears you down. And we all deal with like, issues like mansplaining and elder care and we multitasking, like, we got a lot going on. So the daily grind and that, and you just get beat down, but it always seems like, just when you're at your wit's end, oh, all right, you know what? I'm going, to get recharged at Trade Women Build Nations or the IBEW Women's Conference or
It is
something.
so cool being around like people, right? The same
Yeah.
interests. It's just, you're absolutely right. It is 100% a recharge.
Yeah. So I got into the IBEW total accident, totally didn't know what I was getting into. I was working with the developmentally disabled, um, and I was going to school for TV broadcasting. And I was working to live, living to work, I was cleaning up puke and poop and giving enemas and suppositories for $12 an hour. And there's no money in care, right? Like American society, we don't value caretakers, right? We all need them, but when we put a value on it, I always see value as like putting a dollar to it, dollar value. And we devalue the caretakers, but that's a whole nother story. But I was working 40, I mean, like 60 to 80 hours a week, just to make ends meet, right? And so I was going to school for TV broadcasting, and they took me to a Liberty basketball game. And my friend Margaret, she knew somebody in local 3, and she was a headhunter, and she's like, my friend Erin, she loves to play with wires, right? And this is what she's telling this other person, and the other person's like, well, we're always looking for women, we need more women. So they take me to a Liberty game, and they're like, oh, you see that guy on the camera? He's local 3. And you see that guy on the camera? He's local 3. So I'm like, sign me up. So I fill out the application and I send it in, and I get a call, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 months later, saying to come in for an interview. I go in, they call me, and then I get a job ticket to report to work. And I get to the job, and I call my friend at like 6:15 in the morning, and I'm like, Margaret, this is not Madison Square Garden. There's no camera work here. This is a construction site. And they want me to go up on this carnival ride up on the side of the building. And, the tallest building where I live is 4 stories. And they wanted me to go to the 19th story with these skyscrapers. I was a country kid. And she just started laughing. She goes, you know what, Erin? She goes, I think that this is going to be perfect for you. Just try it. And so I had no idea what I was getting into. And, from the time I hit the Alamac, when I heard like I can make the same amount of money as a guy, um, I said, all right, I'm going to try it. And as far as like union goes, like I didn't have, I knew that when I worked in the group home, if I said the word union, which I did once, and it got me like an hour uh, conversation, like I got called into the executive director's office. And she spent an hour, telling me like how unions are bad. So basically, I was part of, my first captive audience meeting that was non-union. So when I came into Local 3, I wasn't sure like what a union was. I just thought like it was bad, but I liked working with my hands. I liked, seeing what I saw. And I used to put bikes together when I was a kid. I used to, we weren't rich, so you know, garbage day, I would go around the neighborhood, and if somebody was throwing out a bike, and I would take that. And so, I went through the apprenticeship, and I was somewhat involved. I had to be involved because the person who got me in was involved. So it was like I didn't come in here, with the Norma Ray sign, flying high. But I was told that I had to go to union meetings, and I had to do this, and I had to do that. And I did. And but somewhere along the way, like I found my purpose, right? I found my voice. And then I ended up going to school, for my master's degree, and did education. Now I teach. So it really kind of just gave me a life that like I never would have imagined, right? Like if you told me this teacher tormentor from the class of 1986 was going to be a college professor one day, I would have thought you were batshit nuts. But here I am, right? And I teach the apprentices, and I was mentored by good people. And so, mentoring, as Shannon said, was important to me. So, you know, it's kind of funny how like some people come in, and I think nowadays, more and more people are coming in that didn't have family, like our first generation. And that's good, I think, I think right now unions have, the highest favorability than we've ever had, even higher than the 50s when we were at our peak. So it's important that, Shannon and Stacy and myself, we bring these kids up right. And so that's how I got here.
How was that first union meeting? Wasn't it? It was terrifying to me.
Yes.
It was terrifying. I was like, oh my goodness,
I really
right?
thought I joined a cult, right? So when I would go to the apprentice union meetings, they were like just super boring, right? It was just like somebody talking at you, you know? Then I got my A card and I went to my first A meeting and I heard, this guy, speaking my language. It was our business manager. And um, I was like, wow, this guy's like right in my wheelhouse, and so I went back because I wasn't sure if he was like just talking the talk, like I was always skeptical and I was like never a joiner, right? Like,
Right.
I was just always like do my own thing. But like even though like he didn't mentor me, like indirectly he did, right? And
Yes, absolutely.
so, helping me find my voice and sending me to like other things to, find my voice even more. So,
Find your path, your trail for sure.
yeah. And I think that that's one thing, like the IBEW is so vast, right? Like that you could just, you, you're going to find something, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It feels like the possibilities are endless and going to these conferences and meeting so many people in different places than where you're at, it's just unlimited. That's been something really cool to see.
Like I think you'll just go where you want to go. You know what I mean? Like I just think like all you have to do is just, you know,
Once one foot in front of the other,
yeah,
for
yeah. And
sure.
then one day you're walking through a door that you never knew like existed or that. So, so ladies, I guess we can start to wrap up because people aren't going to want to listen to us for that long. I don't think. But hopefully they'll be back next week. Um, here's
I love
to
it.
here's
Yeah.
to well, I'm going to send you guys your mugs. Um, but here's to our current brew crew, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this takes us. And
I'm very much looking forward to it also.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
might make it home in time to take a shower next time.
yeah. Well, that's the thing is like we're we always
We're gonna
get
get,
dirty. So
yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna get you in your line truck the next time.
yeah.
I changed my shirt, so we'll be okay.
But what I did notice with this AI thing is that you can touch up your face.
Yeah.
Did you do touch ups?
Yeah.
You
Of
did?
course I did.
We
Yeah.
got to get Shannon. We got to
I'm gonna sit
yeah,
down with
you
her and
you
give
got to
her a
set
little
her
Zoom
up.
lesson. Little Zoom
A
lesson.
little Zoom lesson.
Because even I
Yeah.
got a pink tint on my lips that I
Oh,
don't
I didn't
Wow.
do
normally have.
that. I
Yeah,
didn't
you
know
I'm
that.
wearing
pink tint.
pink for October.
Yes. So
Good.
so yeah, so Stacy, if you can kind of get with her and
Yeah,
we'll bring her along.
we can do that. We can definitely do that.
Sounds
All
like a
right.
plan.
All right, ladies, I love you guys, and I'll
I
see
love
you
you.
next
Always a
week.
pleasure.
I can't, this is going to be great because we get to see you every week.
I know that's the even more exciting part is we don't have to wait for our conference.
I
Right?
know. We might for the pub, for the pub stuff, but
Yeah, well, we'll take that offline.
yeah. Well, we know Stacy
Maybe.
likes her Irish coffee, so.
Yeah.
But one of the things is that we want to stay current on things and just bring current information to the sisters in the trades, not necessarily just the IBEW, but in the trades in general. So,
I'm headed off to the Lyman's Rodeo in the morning.
oh yeah,
Yeah, International Rodeo. Yeah, it's competition.
tell us more.
Well, St. Louis, Missouri. I think it's the 76th annual, to tell you the truth. You know what? Don't get me to lying. But teams from all across the nation, United States and Canada, put teams together and they compete in what we do for a living. And it's pretty awesome. I will send you girls some pictures.
Yes. Can
It's
you send us some video and maybe we could share that next?
Oh yeah,
Next,
absolutely. We've got two
next
lineman
podcast.
teams and two apprentice teams. And also this young man that I mentor from Montana. He's turned a young man that I taught how to climb on my mom's transformer pole, is involved in the union, now is a foreman, and I get to see him out at the Lineman's Rodeo. He's got a team, so pretty exciting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting. Well, I look forward to hearing about that.
Yeah.
Stacy, do you have any button pushing rodeos coming up?
No, but I have been exercising it just in case.
You know what? Stacy does good out there. She brings us out there for
Yeah, family day.
family day, and we have a backfeed demonstration. We light up some balloons and hot dogs and stuff, and
The kids love it.
the
Yeah.
kids love it. She does good for the families out there.
Yeah.
Get them introduced right away.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm a good button pusher.
Well, when you come out and get on that helicopter, I'll let you come over and push a button at the plant.
I don't know about actual buttons, but I know people's buttons. I'm good.
Yeah. I was driving a truck in the parade over on Friday. It got canceled because of rain. So some little kids jump in my bucket truck. They started pushing buttons. I'm like, oh no, no more button pushing.
Oh boy.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Oh boy.
It's like send them out to the plant. I need a good button pusher.
See them. But you know that might be the next, future lineman, that
Oh yeah.
that you're
They love riding in the
introducing.
truck for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna get us some jackets made.
All right.
How's that with that Brew crew on the back?
Love it.
Got to be union made.
Yeah, it's by a young lady that her dad was a journeyman lineman and I called him my papa in the trade. Yeah, I was really close with their family, and I am now her big sister, but she'll make us some jackets.
All right. I'll send you the logo.
Okay.
All right. Cool. We're gonna get swag, so you guys can have some swag out there.
That's
Love
right.
it.
We got the Brew Crew mugs.
I love it. You're on top of it, Aaron.
Sisters who espresso themselves.
That's right.
All right, ladies, you keep expressing yourselves, expressoing
right, sister.
yourselves. All right.
Love
All
you.
right, ladies.
All right. Same time, same bat channel next week.
All right.
All right.
Sounds great.
Night.
Bye.